So that playfulness and curiosity, it's a natural thing of all the beings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is broken during the trauma.
Yeah.
Sometimes from the developmental trauma, sometimes from the adult. But our objective of healing trauma is to really get back to that playfulness.
Mm-hmm. Because you can't be curious or playful if you are traumatized or if you are on guard all the time. But you're right about animals. They're so functional in that they might be shocked one moment and the next moment they're just playing around. They're just doing their thing. They're able to move forward with their lives. Some people just get stuck in their freeze mode for years and years and years and not functional at all.
Right, yeah.
Do you remember what it feels like to be comfortable in your own skin? Not just confident, but also pain-free, relaxed, healthy, and carefree? Think about the most robust version of your own childhood body. This is what Lifeyness feels like, a joyful spirit and a vibrant physical state of being. I'm your guide, Professor Sarah, storyteller, teacher, and wellness enthusiast. Reach into the vitality of your own girlhood to supercharge your grown-up life.
Welcome back to the Lifeyness podcast. This is episode 20, and I'm so excited to bring to you a special guest today. So today we're going to be talking about somatic therapy, which is a type of psychotherapy that takes like a more holistic approach because it gives lots of attention to the body. So this mind-body approach to mental health comes in many different forms. But one of the principles that many practitioners hold is that trauma can be kind of trapped in the body and even expressed in posture, facial expressions, tone of voice, and even muscular pain. So specifically, somatic experiencing is a trademarked program invented by renowned psychologist Dr. Peter Levine. It's an essential part of this tradition of somatic psychology. The somatic experiencing method is a body-oriented approach to healing trauma and other stress disorders. From the study of stress physiology, biology, neuroscience, psychology, and indigenous healing practices. He's been doing this for 50 years, so 50 years of successful clinical application. And today we're going to be talking to one of his specialists. So in the last episode, I mentioned that I'd been reading the book In an Unspoken Voice by Dr. Levine. This week, I'm speaking with one of his faculty members, Efu Nyaki. Today's episode is all about embracing playfulness, healing from trauma, and, of course, the transformative power of embodiment, as usual. I'm really thrilled to introduce Efu. Her full name is Efu Nyaki. She's an expert in the field of somatic experiencing. She's originally from Tanzania, but she came to Brazil after working with the Maryknoll sisters for many years. And she became a co-founder of AFYA, which is a women's holistic healing center, where she now lives in northeastern Brazil. She's dedicated her life to helping people reconnect with their bodies and find healing from trauma, especially women from war-torn areas and from some of the poorest areas in northeastern Brazil. So again, somatic experiencing focuses on the body's innate ability to heal itself from trauma. It allows people to restore their sense of safety, resilience, and aliveness. I've also been actively incorporating these practices into my own life in the last few months. During our conversation today, we will explore the role of playfulness and curiosity in the healing process. Efu will share her insight, some anecdotes from her practice and her clients, the power of embodiment. She'll talk about tapping. She'll talk about pendulation, the significance of the body and mind connection, and then also her background and how that has influenced her practice So whether you're curious about somatic experiencing, you're seeking personal healing, or you're just intrigued by the transformative power of embodiment, like I am, I think this episode is going to be a rich source of inspiration and guidance. And just as a reminder, last week I provided that hands-on practice in the meditation segment of the podcast. So if you're the kind of person who just wants to do it first to see how it feels, please check that out. And then next week, I have another way to practice Lifeyness, continuing in the same vein of somatic experiencing. If there's one thing I'd like you to take from this, it's to entertain the idea that talk therapy alone is maybe insufficient to fully address mental health problems. That tapping into the body and emotions, whether that's through breathing exercises, tapping, meditating, or gentle exercise, or dancing, but it's necessary. We think that we can think our way out of everything, as humans. But in reality, our animal bodies have to be involved. One of the key goals in healing trauma, as Efu will explain, is to get back to a state of playful curiosity. So definitely listen up for tips on how to overcome everyday stress and everyday trauma that may make you go into a long-term state of freezing or even depression. She has some techniques that will help you become more functional. And just as a quick note, in the beginning of the episode, she refers to modules of SE, and just so you know, that just stands for Somatic Experiencing. So welcome again to Lifeyness, and please welcome Efu Nyaki of the Somatic Experiencing Institute. So thank you for joining me. This is wonderful. Before we get started on our official questions, I just wanted to see if you have anything to say about playfulness in your life as an adult.
Yeah, well, I do a lot of, I joke to break out the side, like sometimes when I meet the client the first time, something like, hey, seems like you're quite serious today. What happened? I enter like into a playfulness and, oh, well, yeah. Are you scared? I am too. So, and then the person look at me and they're like, oh, I didn't think you will be scared. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I never face-to-face, how do you call the social engagement moments with people, which actually helps them to be more playful.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
That's helpful when you're a therapist, right? Like you have to find that playful thread.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Well, how did you get on the team with Dr. Levine? Have you followed his work for a long time, or did he reach out to you?
Well, I became first of all from my work with women who have suffered violence in the communities. I mean, I had to find something that would really help the body because women were really suffering, especially physical health. And therefore, somebody introduced me to SE. And I started SE the first module only. I came back and I attended like 15 women, like one after another, and all of them was really successful. Like something changed and shifted from where they were. And so I said, wow, no, this is the method. And even for myself, it was like, wow, I can feel it in my body. I can feel it. And I didn't have any problem getting in touch with my body.
Right.
And I thought it was something that was kind of, was there already from my historical background. And therefore I just got in touch with it. And then, and so I used it all the time. And then I think Dr. Levine, and then I said to Levine one time, he came to give advanced level in Brazil. And I did that advanced level. And I went to him and I said, I think I want to teach this method. He said, oh, really, already? I said, yeah, because I think it's really a great method for healing. I told him I'm already healing like lots of people with it. He said, good. So That way, every time he comes or I went to a workshop, I was there, he will say, yeah, how are you doing? He will follow up with me. And then eventually his secretary reached out to me and said, we would like to invite you to, we were reading your stories and all that. We want you to become really part of the team. Will you accept? I said, oh, sure, with all the honor, I will. First of all, I asked, what does that mean,
Yeah. What do I have to do?
What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to leave what I'm doing and move to this? But I said, oh, I'm glad to do that. I love to teach. I love to work one-on-one. I like to help.
What was it about module 1? Because you said right away it affected you and it affected other women.
It was just healing by getting in touch through the body.
Yeah.
Using the body, the embodiment process. Notice your sensations, and I'm just noticing, like, I noticed my sensation, but I never connected it with the healing of the traumas,
Right.
I connected it with other things, like I will be dancing and it feels good as I'm dancing and all that, but I never connected it with healing itself. So, and the simplicity part of it too. Okay, simply because I work with a population of the women who most of them were illiterate, like they didn't know how to read and write.
Right.
So sophisticated methods don't work too well with them.
Right.
Like analyzing them and asking them high questions, they just feel very shy. Right. So playfulness, I'm like, this is great. Yeah, hey, so as you breathe, how do you feel? How does that feel in the body? And they go, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, let's stop right up. What do you feel in your skin? And they say, yeah. And then they will say, oh, it feels like itchy. It feels like something is full. It feels like ants are walking over my body. Okay, that's it. Those ants are kind of walking over and they are going out of your body.
Yeah.
They've been housed in your body. So I used to play with it, especially when you're talking about sensations, and just be able to play with it was great. And then another thing is, I think that called my attention big time was the resources. I mean, it's so simple, huh? Resource. We all know that we are surrounded by beauty and many good things. There's suffering, there's trauma, there's a lot of painful stuff. But when you just look at something and then you give it a look again, and you notice its beauty that you didn't notice before, and you let that object talk to you, and less of you, instead of you going out there and fix it and make it, you just look at it and let it be something that can bring joy to you. It's amazing. And there's so many resources around. And then it shifts something in your body, in your nervous system, as you feel it as a resource. You see those kind of things, yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
People were able to learn it very easily that way.
I love the two things you say, the simplicity and the playfulness that you could help your clients get to without, you don't need to analyze, you don't need, a lot of words, but everybody knows how to feel and move and, what does it feel like on your skin? So that's what I love about his work, because it's like we all feel, and I want to jump to that question about the difference between kind of traditional therapy, talk therapy, and this, because this seems huge. I can't believe that everyone's not doing it when they're in therapy. It's almost like we forget our bodies, and it's so important. So where do you think that disconnect comes in? Why don't you think all therapists do embodied therapy?
Well, because historically, though, I mean, even where you call Freud comes from, or those who came before, we were all taught from the philosophy point of view, was like thinking was the best thing.
Right.
If you talk about emotions or body or sensations or even body, that was very negative. That was a bad thing, negative thing. And I'm like, I said, emotions are like women. Oh my gosh, women are nuts. It's got like they're emotive like that. Be a man. Don't be like women. Don't cry like women.
Right.
Yeah? All of that was socialized, and I think across the world, across the cultures, across the religion, that was the thing. So things after being socialized like that, we all forgot about our bodies.
Yeah.
And staying on the thinking part, the cortical part of the brain. Now, what happens is the trauma itself, when we are traumatized, the energy that is kept in our nervous system, it doesn't go into the brain, it goes into the physical body. It's the physical body that gets trapped. So actually, even getting sick or getting emotional unbalanced is like, if I woke up in the middle of the night and I tried to breathe and I couldn't, immediately I get completely disoriented.
Right.
So what happened? It wasn't what I thought, it was my body. Or I woke up and there was a little pain. Immediately, I start getting very nervous. What is it? Am I dying? Am I dying? What is it? What is happening to me? It's the body. Everything starts from the body. Everything. And then that's what, like Peter Levine, even in his book of an unspoken, like you ask that question, and an unspoken word. He says it starts from the body and then the mind follows.
Yeah.
Okay. So the body feels it and the mind starts searching for an answer.
Yes.
The mind can never find an answer because we have to go to the body. So all these analyzing methods that came before, including Freud's method, it's that, oh, what happened? Why are you feeling that way? When did you start feeling that way? And why did you do that? And why? So the person make up stories because they don't really know. They make up stories. They can think of this, think of that, but they never get in touch with the real pain on the skin, the real problem of breathing, the real problem of, of not feeling quite right in the body.
Yeah. And they say, oh, it's because I'm the third born girl of I was born in this part of the country and my dad said this and my mom did that. And you try to explain it.
Right. You try to get, and sometimes somehow I have a client whose therapist actually helped him to conclude that his mother wanted to abort him.
Okay.
Or your mother, he had these strange feelings, of course, and then the therapist said, for sure, for me, I think your mother wanted to abort you. So he hated his mother. His mother was dead already, but he hated her. He hated her. If she wanted to abort me, what? How? Why? To me, I did one session of family constellation, which I combined with somatic experiencing. And he was amazed after going to therapy for 41 years.
Wow. What did you do with him? Just one session. Wow.
One session. The body.
Yeah.
When he paid attention to the body, he connected with the image of the mother lying on the floor, moving like a snake. And I said, oh, your mother? I just saw my mother lying on the floor. And I said, just look at it again. And then all of a sudden he remembered he was conceived when the mother was in the menopause phase.
Oh.
And the mother was 54 years old.
Oh, wow.
And then right after he was conceived, the mother got a stroke and she couldn't get up from the floor. So she really moved like that in the house with her big belly.
Wow.
And it's almost like, okay, I will stay alive until I give life to you, until this baby's done, and then I will go. And that's what she did. She gave all of her life to that child.
Beautiful.
And somebody else come in one phrase saying that, I think your mother wanted to abort you. That's why you feel how you feel. Because I think also being in the mother's belly, a mother going like that, those are all the complication of the body, how he was feeling uneasiness in his body.
Yeah.
So you go right into the body to, why am I feeling this way? You will come up with reasons like that, which has nothing to do. But if you track it in the body, yeah. So that's why we started. And then from there, I did a family constellation to help him see his mother and his place and the father.
Wow.
There.
Wow.
Perfect.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So, okay, so we've talked a lot about Dr. Levine and kind of like coming from this Western tradition of psychotherapy. But what are some of the ways that you incorporate medicine from your part of the world, or perhaps your family? You are originally from Tanzania, right?
Tanzania, yeah.
Yeah. So is there anything that you're using here that you learned from your homeland?
You know, where I was born, we didn't use medication at all for whatever you have as an illness. I was born in the village, far away from the city. So we used a lot of herbal medicines, a lot of like community coming together and just surrounding the person and talking about what's going on. And you know, like there were a lot of rituals also, that helps people to heal. And reconciliation rituals were also conducted with different plants. So those also were very helpful. But what I think I inherited in my body is like my grandfather used to tell a story, and he used to ask us to listen with our bodies.
Oh, wow.
Because when he's telling you a story as kids, you know, you get all distracted. He said, I want you to pay attention, look at me. And so that's social engagement, right? And then when you would go, you respond. I want to know if you're present and you're responding to my story. So you have to respond. And I went like this and this. And then as you're doing that, like he said that rhythmically we move our body like that. Grandpa. So, and then as you do that, you're listening to your body too. So that attention for me, it make me learn how to always be present in the body as I listen to the stories. And the stories always had meanings. Like he'll tell a story from the beginning and then in the middle, then at the end, always the meaning part of it. And he always wanted, even if it was a story about war, he will make sure that he moves. At the end, there was a new meaning and something good out of it. If some were killed in the war, were injured in the war, but there was some resource from the ancestors that healed those who were injured. Oh, yeah. And he will say, yes, our clan had that was healing us. So there's just resource. And then it occurred to me that the resources that Peter was talking about, I already learned about that from my tribe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because you were listening. In fact, when you were saying that, I was thinking of the vooing technique, which really connects you. It's something that I have taught to some of my own clients when I coach, because I love it so much. And it's funny that you've been doing something similar where you're connecting, you're making noise through that vagus nerve, right? Exactly. As you're listening. Yeah.
And as you're looking at the eyes.
And looking. Yeah. I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was inside me already. That's why I think I picked up SC very easily like that.
Yeah, you were already doing somatic experiencing by, just kind of, that was your birthright, right?
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I just finished reading In an Unspoken Voice, which the embodied self, that chapter, I just love that. I learned so much. It's so comprehensive, that book of his. Is there anything else in that book that you would draw attention to for listeners, like that you would say is really important? Because there's a lot of practical information in that book about getting embodied.
Yes. I think one thing I always emphasize is how you teaching therapists to understand the power of kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Right at the beginning of it, talks about the power of kindness.
Yeah.
The power of goodness. Yeah. Embodying. And so embodying that power of kindness. It's the body, but this body is also carrying the kindness. Okay.
Right.
But then, of course, when people are traumatized, it's not so easy to, and you are there, you want to share with them this kindness. You want to be there for them. But because they're traumatized, their energy of survival energy is powerful in the body.
Yeah.
Very strong. So this powerful energy of survival, it can be overwhelming to them, to the people. And it can also affect you as you're trying to share your kindness in your body. Yeah. So to be able, when you find people who are unable to receive the kindness, for you to be able to have more resilience by being even deeper in your body and create that safety.
Yeah.
So that they can actually let go of that powerful energy. Yeah. So it's two steps. One step, you have an intention, but not intention to fix them, but in intention to just sit there. I call it the Buddha body. Buddha, the Buddha. It has to be a big body. I'm not being conceive against those who are thin. But I mean, even if you think, like if you imagine a big body, big goddess body.
Yeah, to hold all the trauma, right? To hold the space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need that. So that is symbolic what I mean with this. It's symbolic. But embody that. So when you find your client is unable to receive that, so much trauma, you have to have more resilience and more grounded so that they feel safe with you. And once they feel safe with you, they loosen up a little bit that resistance, that energy they're holding, which is very unconscious.
Yeah.
The energy they were holding. But so that's really one of the most important thing. The second thing I think that's very, very important, I want all the people to know, is where he talks about at one point, he says, so the body, how do we connect with the body? Through sensations, right? Through the feeling, like, if I touch you, sensations.
Right.
Through sensations, which we don't talk too much about it. So if you lose sensation, you lose a sense of direction. You lose a sense of being who you are.
Right. Your compass.
You cannot be.
Right.
Yeah. You
your
cannot
inner,
be.
like your inner compass. Yeah.
You lose it. You lose it. And how do we lose the sensation? By the numbness. Why do we get numb? Because of trauma.
Yes.
Yeah, the numbness comes from the frozen. I mean, of course, in his language, he used be frozen, like from fight, flight, and then freezing. Yeah. So, but that's why the freezing itself is the numbness. And if you're numb, you don't feel your sensation.
Yeah. 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 It's funny. I was going to ask you about, my podcast it's very upbeat, and it's very positive, but I talk a lot and have guests on the show about anxiety and trauma. And a lot of times people don't want to hear about trauma, but the reality is exactly what you said, is that it's more about this, this kind of frozen, or this numbness in which you don't feel that vibrancy, you don't feel that aliveness because of the trauma. But on the other end of that, I'm sure you see this all the time. And if you have a story, I'd love to hear it, where there's a client who is now, because you've worked with them, they can experience this joy that they couldn't touch before because of the numbness.
Right. Exactly. Oh no, I mean, I do have lots of clients like that. Can think of a story. Yeah.
It's just beautiful work that you're doing. It's so wonderful. I want to know about you in particular, because I'm sure that you've used all of this to better yourself, but do you have like a daily ritual or tips or advice for kind of staying grounded and staying joyful for yourself that kind of keep you connected to your body?
Yes. First of all, really, when I wake up in the morning, I always do, at least, even if it's 5 minutes, being in touch with the body, feeling my feet on the ground, feeling the chest support me. I do an embodiment process a little bit. Like just feeling like I arrive every morning. I arrive. You're sleeping. I arrive. Just feeling that. And also I do dancing. I love doing dancing.
Do you? Wonderful.
Yes, I put on some music and I dance. I dance in the garden. My home. I'm traveling now. I'm in South Korea.
Okay.
I'm in South Korea right now. But yeah, and here too, I found a garden over there. I always go in the garden and feel my feet on the ground and do some dancing movement. Whether I have music or not, I just move, and then feel my body. Yeah. And again, for me, it's a thing of saying it has to be 40 minutes, have 45 minutes. The idea is like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however much time you have, so that you can just get in touch with the body. So I usually do that. I get in touch with my body. If it's from my room, from my bed, I arrive from my sleepiness, sitting, and then I go out there and I do stamping on the floor and dancing, and I will be laughing by myself like crazy. When
I love that. Yeah, I do the same thing. I love it.
As I'm dancing, yeah. Okay, so those two things.
Yeah.
The most important thing is I keep an intention. Please, God, help me to be connected be aware, to be connected to my body from time to time, so I don't lose it. Like, so, okay, I'm driving and all of a sudden I see there's a crowd over there and, it's an accident. Okay. The first thing I do, I check my body.
Yeah.
That is very important because we get hijacked.
Yeah. Definitely.
Immediately. And then, of course, after you're hijacked, you don't even remember where the body is. But I have an intention. I really try to put that intention as I wake up, okay, may I be present today. May I be present, and may you send people for me to serve.
I love that. It's like a simple prayer.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so simple. Stay in your body. Serve others. It's beautiful.
Stay in my body and send people for me to save today.
I love it. I love that. I think what happens is if you do it a little bit for 5 minutes, then sometimes it leads to 10 or 20 minutes. But if you say you have to do it for 20 minutes, then you might not ever start.
Well, and then you start looking, we human beings, we're like that. We're all the same, really. Oh, no. Okay, today I woke up a little late. No, I don't have 20 minutes. Oh, I have to go. Oh, I'm late. You just said, no, it's 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
Right.
That's it. Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. Now. Once you start it, then yeah. That's wonderful. What role do you think playfulness has in trauma healing?
Yes. You know, trauma actually, it's a shock, right? So, like, we are here talking, we're very playful and all that. And all of a sudden, if there's a big shock that comes up, we get like that. We get startled and then we stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We are stuck. You know what I want to say? It's just being stuck energetically. So, if I don't take some time and realize that the shock has passed and let that energy out, this energy will stay in the body. So I will walk around always holding this energy and it builds up. Slowly in my body, my cortical brain is constant working as if that shock is always there. No more shock, but everywhere I go, I'm carrying this shock inside my body. So even when I want to go back to this playfulness we have here, the shock come in. Okay? Right. So when I'm able to help people first of all, when they arrive and they're very serious, I kind of break that a little bit. They will break a little bit, but they're still saying, hey, there's a big thing I'm holding here. I cannot let go of it. I said, that's okay. I know there's something you want me to deal with. But before that, just tell me, who gave you that wonderful earrings you have over there? Oh, these are very nice. Yes, I got it from my wonderful friend. Oh, really? Where did you meet this friend? I get curious about little things like that.
Yeah, getting curious. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, you know what? They say Brazilians love to have long hair. And your hair looks like Brazilians. Brazilians by any chance? And people are, no, I'm not. So who knows? You might be a Brazilian too. You know? So I just come up with something that may break a little bit of that. And then they say, okay, I'm a bit relaxed. I said, you're very funny. I said, yeah, right, with a purpose behind it. I don't say it. So you're breaking that startleness, that state that made the people kind of become rigid. And as I'm working with them, the pendulation process we have in IC, it's really like that. So once I will bring them into the place of healing and they feel a little better, I want them to stay a little longer to experience the goodness. Yeah. When they experience the goodness, they go, wow, oh yeah. They begin a little smile. And I catch that. Oh, do you notice that little smile there? Yeah. All right. How about expanding that? So when we expand that, slowly they begin to come off that seriousness. And then I can even make it, let's laugh. You know, we can laugh with no reason. And so we begin to laugh with no reason. And all of a sudden they catch that. At times maybe they feel like going back again and we bring back it. So with the pendulation, we bring people from being stuck, being fixated, to flexibility, relaxed, and joyfulness.
I love that.
Yeah. No, I was just saying that the animals, when they run away because they see it, the small animals, for example, little rabbit, it was being chased by big animal, it ran away to hide. When it realized that, okay, the big animal is gone, it goes and eat grass, but it eats and jumps around and play and all that. It's like, whoa, now I can enjoy. Right. Even if in half an hour another animal will come, it's no longer worry, but they jump up and down. So that playfulness and curiosity, it's a natural thing of all the beings. Yeah, that is broken during the trauma. Yeah, sometimes from the developmental trauma, sometimes from the adult. But our objective of healing trauma is to really get back to that playfulness.
I love what you said about curiosity. You get curious with them, and then eventually they can get to a place, because you can't be curious or playful if you are traumatized or if you are on guard all the time. But you're right about animals. They're so functional in that they might be shocked one moment and the next moment they're just playing around, they're just doing their thing, they're able to move forward with their lives. But, according to Dr. Levine, some people just get stuck in their freeze mode for years and years and years and not functional at all.
Right. Yeah.
So that's just wonderful. So many practical things that you're telling us. Can you share a specific case maybe of someone in your practice who kind of, even if you want to change their name, obviously, just somebody who went from that traumatized freeze mode and you moved them into a more playful, vibrant, somebody that strikes you as really vibrant and joyful now?
Yeah. In our center, there's a woman, of course, I change her name. I can just put Maria Jose, this very common name. Okay, she comes from a community where it's quite broken. There's a lot of drugs dealing. There's a lot of guns at night. From 6 o'clock onwards, there's a lot of gunshots, that just they exchange among themselves because of the drug dealing. And that's why she lives, so she can now move out. And so sometimes one night, a gun passed, a bullet passed by the ear of her little girl. And, they were just hiding like that. And it just passed. And she was so scared. So that started. When she comes to she came to our center, like she will be like that. You ask her a question, she looked like that. Her eyes just get really big and she just stare at you. And from there, either she gets very angry and she will attack you, or she cry with fear and run away. So she played between fear and extreme fear and extreme anger. Yeah. After the number of sessions overseas at our center, she just beginning to become so playful. She sings so well and then dances too. She's a good dancer. She's Brazilian dance samba and very nicely. And, before, well, like she's shy. I cannot speak in front of people because I don't know how to say things right and all that. But now she says everything, even if she said, even if I make a mistake, it's my way. Okay, in my way of saying it, I will say this and this. And then she laughed.
Yeah.
With no problems.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So it was just after a number, like after six sessions, I think. Even the first session already, she just have a deep breath. She said, wow. So there's a healing into this. Yes, there is a healing into this. This is not a life sentence. Even if I'm still living there, please help me to get out of there. I said, I don't have money to do that. But I have this knowledge to help you know how to live there.
I think that's a great lesson, that it's not a life sentence, that just because you've been traumatized, even if it's been years and years and years, that it's not a life sentence. Yeah, that's so beautiful. You can't bring her out of a dangerous spot, but you can help her deal with the feelings, because that's really all we are, right? We're living inside this brain and this body, and it's just about our responses to what's going on around us. So that's wonderful.
And now she became also therapist. She's she learned how to do massage. A massage and Reiki, and she uses this method too. I teach them I give them trainings, but not official training, of course, but in their level, just play sensations. When she's doing massage with people, she say, okay, now, as you say, it's painful. What else is happening there? Can you stay with that for 1 minute? She does use SE sometimes to help.
That's great. I think everybody should know this stuff. This is wonderful. Where do you feel it in your body? What do you feel? Yeah, it's wonderful. So that's a great segue to my last couple of questions. And basically, you've given us lots of tips and techniques for staying embodied, but is there anything else? Because I like your dancing and your getting grounded and walking in the garden. Anything else for someone like this woman who maybe has gone through this, but doesn't have the same kind of help that she got from you. Where do you start when you're trying to figure out how to get past that freeze mode?
Yeah. Sometimes they come very, like you said, very depressed, freeze mode. So the first thing I do is tapping. I invite them. I just say, let's do, okay, welcome, and how are you? And they just look down like that. And I try to, oh, I like your blouse. They go, mm-hmm. So I try all these things I tell you, but it doesn't work. They're just so down deep. Depressed. So I said, okay, I know you came to me because you really want to change something in your life, right? They go, and they're not looking, they're looking down. So I said, why don't you stand up? If you would, please, we begin with this. No talking, I'm not going to ask you any more questions. Let's just stop. Let's stop. So I do it. I said, look at me and slow. At me like, what's that? They start.
Yeah.
But they start tapping a little bit. And then you can feel the breath. Just tapping. So we say little movements. It's a way of coming out of the freezing.
Yeah.
The tapping is a way of coming out. So tap your body. Tap a little bit. So, and we tap just few seconds actually, not minutes yet. Maybe about 30 seconds. And then I said, so, and how it feels now after we tap? Well, I kind of felt like I have a breath. There was a breath that came out. Oh, great. That is one of a breath. Wow. So I get excited about that.
Yeah.
Breath. Yeah. And so then they said, oh, yeah. It's like, oh, my gosh, just a little thing you get so excited about. I said, of course. It's a little thing, but it is big because the breath that was not coming through, it is coming through now. So notice that breath again. And they notice it, and then all of a sudden they look at me for the first time. You know what I mean? Then we continue tapping again. We tap the whole body. And then can see them doing a little movement. I say, now, is there any movement that your body is doing, want to do? Like, let your body express itself. And then sometimes they just do like little movement, and I follow them. And then I last about 5 minutes, and then we sit again and we say, and so tell me what's going on in your body right now after this. So, well, I feel a little warm. They begin to talk. So, and after that, the most important thing, I don't go to the story yet. The most important thing is the orientation. It's so important. After grounding, tapping, and then feel a little grounding on the chair, just invite them and say, just slowly, very gently, just let your neck turn around. And then you can feel them slowly. It really has to be very slow. Turn around in this level. Turn around. And as they're turning around, they see a little plant, a little whatever on the wall. And then they have a deep breath. But that deep breath that comes not necessarily for what they saw, it's because they release all the tension of the nerves that it's in your neck, and it's connected to this a nerve, vagal nerve, that it goes all the way to the stomach, which is connected with the freezing, that polyvagal theory, this. Exactly. So because it goes through here and the next, and it's all stuck. So when they do that little movement, there's a deep breath that comes up. They feel them, you're alive. I said, wow, that breath, I'm following that. I'm alive. And I said, just say, look around and say, we are alive here. I am alive and real.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then they begin, after that breath, they connect with any little thing on the wall that I could ask them to exploit. That's it. That's really enough to make people come a deep frozen place.
Do you ever do shaking? So I don't know if you've heard of the Koya movement. It's a dance. It's kind of a free dance movement. And they you shake an arm, and then you shake another one, and then you just kind of feel, well, you shake, 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 shake. And then you feel the difference between the energy of this hand and this hand. And you realize, okay, things are moving here. And then you kind of shake an arm and shake a leg. It feels so good, just to kind of get that body moving.
Yes. Well, I have not done that, the shaking, but I do more. If it comes from them, sometimes it comes from them. I feel like shaking my hand, like somebody told me, I feel like shaking my hand. I said, sure, let's do whatever that it comes from their own body, I accept it.
Yeah.
But that's interesting too, like shaking. Yeah.
Yeah. You just shake it all out. It feels, so it's kind of like Koya does a lot of yoga, but first you get to shake stuff and you kind of get to calm the nervous system just by getting the energy out before you do the slow stretching movements.
Right.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Okay, well, so in terms of connecting to this kind of therapy, I know a lot of people don't know about, they know talking therapy. This has become widely accepted finally to actually have a therapist. But how could listeners connect to somatic experiencing or something similar to it, or find a local practitioner in their area?
Well, yeah, if they get in touch with, because somatic experiencing is really spread out in many countries, in many places right now. But in the US, for example, if they get in touch with the Somatic Experiencing Institute, you have the address there too. That helps them also too. Because when Somatic Experiencing Institute, they get somebody from any country, they actually send message. Like I just got a message about the woman from Costa Rica who has suffered tremendous violence, sexual abuse and all that. And somehow she just found out the internet. She was just searching in the internet and she found out about trauma healing. And then she sent a message to the institute there, Trauma Institute. And then they, of course, got it. And then they asked me, Efu, do you know any therapists that speak Spanish? Of course, I know many. So then I send, so this therapist and I can attend somebody with a low income too. So already that's network. We do that all the time.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So that's how you can connect them with and tell them there is ways to heal trauma. And especially this way of Peter Levine, it's just wonderful.
It is wonderful. And the Somatic Experiencing, or the center is based in Denver. Is that correct? In the United States? Yeah.
Yes, the center, it is in Denver. Yeah, it is in Denver. And that's where Peter started and it stayed there. They moved once, but moved within the same area. Yeah. It is really great because they are the center, big center there. And as SC becoming international, they really are the one who is helping to send the information all over the world.
Yeah.
And in touch with it. Now, if people want to get in touch with Brazil and all that, you can also give my email or, if people want to get in touch with me, I do individual sessions. I do talks, I do different things. So you have my email, you can give it out.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for talking to me, Efu. This has been amazing. It's funny how some experiences, even virtually, the energy, I can feel the energy. And you said you're in South Korea, so far away, and yet I can feel it, so it's beautiful.
It's amazing because online sessions, somebody was asking, well, I think online sessions do not really work. How can you do SC because you're dealing with sensation? How can you do it online? I said, well, energy has no boundaries. So we are connected right here. I'm with you totally. I see you, I feel you, I see you breathing, and we are breathing the same air across the world. So why not?
Why not? Yeah. And you can do so much more by being able, people can access you this way, so you can touch that many more people.
Exactly. I've done so much. even online, it works. God is so good. I mean, on one side that we say pandemic was quite, traumatizing. On the other side, it became also as a resource where we begin to use this more.
This is true. Yeah.
Well, we started at 5 a.m. Now it's getting close to 6.
Wow. Okay. That's crazy.
I love getting up early and do things.
Yeah. You got to go do your grounding exercise.
Exactly. It's the best time because people are sleeping, and then, feels, and I think the energy goes with the energy of the sun rising. So it's nice, good energy. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Have a lovely day.
Thank you. The same to you. Now to you, lovely evening, right?
Yes, exactly. It's 6 o'clock, or it's 5 o'clock here. So
thank you. Bye-bye.
If you'd like to learn more about somatic experiencing or information about Efu or the other faculty members, you can find that information in the show notes, or you can just go to somaticexperiencing.com and find out a little bit more about Dr. Levine's work. And if you have questions or comments for me, please reach out to me through Instagram. Go to Book of Lifeyness. Also, there's going to be a new online community. If you'd like to join the Facebook community of Lifeyness, I'd love to see you there. And until next time, have a beautiful day and a relaxing evening.